What's up guys, Anthony here, welcome back to the channel. And in this video, I'm gonna be showing you exactly how to test hundreds of creatives every single week, even if you have a limited budget. And essentially what I'm saying here is this is my advanced guide to campaign setups that use cost caps. So if you're currently a dropshipper who is limited on capital, you know that the secret to scaling a product successfully is your creative strategy and testing more ads. But every time you go to test more ads, either Facebook spends and you make zero sales, or you're simply unprofitable and you know you can't sustain your current level of testing before eventually you just run out of money altogether, then in this video, I'm going to be explaining to you the campaign structure and setup that you should be using if you want to be able to test hundreds of creatives every single week while eliminating up to 70 to 80% of wasted ad spend on failed tests. And what that means essentially is, in layman's terms, is you're not going to spend your money unless Facebook can make you money. So make sure you stick around until the end of this video because I'm going to walk you through the exact step-by-step strategy and setup. So that way you can implement this into your account starting today and start testing the kinds of creatives and the quantity of creatives that you need in order to take your product, which you already know is a proven winner, or you should know is a proven winner, and to put all of your focus on launching creatives with as little risk as possible. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Anthony. Scaled my first ecom brand to 7 figures and have now generated over 9 figures in advertising revenue with Facebook ads. So let's go ahead and dive straight into the video for today. Now, let me scroll here. Now, as I mentioned, I want to ask first of all if any of this sounds familiar, because it should sound familiar if any of what I just said in the intro resonates with you. So you're a dropshipper with a limited amount of capital. You launch your first product, super excited. You go to test out some ads. You spend about $221 and you make zero sales. Now you're back to the drawing board since every guru tells you, myself included, you need to fix your creative. You need to test more creatives, test more creatives, test more creatives. And I don't need to tell you, you already know this. The secret to getting better performance and scaling a product is through your creatives. So now you're back to the drawing board. You're using ChatGPT, you're making ads in Canva, you're buying template packs, you're borrowing from your competitors, and you go to launch more ads, and now you're wasting even more money because you're still making zero sales because Facebook is spending and you're still not profitable. So now you're $500 in the hole, and now you're running out of money to keep testing. And you're confused, you're burnt out because you don't know if you should move on to a new product or you should test more ads. And that's one of the worst, most confusing, frustrating, and just honestly exhausting places to be in this space of ecom and dropshipping, is when you're in between, should you move on from a product or should you continue to test more ads? It's almost like a toxic relationship, and you keep wrestling back and forth between the two, exhausting yourself when there's a better way to go about this entirely. And so I want you to imagine if you had a way you could test hundreds of creatives where Facebook only spent on the winning ads, which meant all of your ads that generated you zero sales that you spent money on anyways. Imagine if Facebook never spent on those to begin with. That's $500 back into your pocket, or we should say $500 that never even leaves your pocket to begin with, because we can tell Facebook not to spend on losing ads, or unless it can make us a profit. And I want you to also imagine not being stressed as fuck about whether or not you're going to lose all your money the next day. And trust me, guys, that feeling doesn't go away. No matter how successful you get in dropshipping, whenever you launch a new thing for the first time, new sets of creatives, new campaigns, particularly at higher budgets, there's still that level of anxiety in the back of your mind as to whether or not any of this is even going to work. But it's even worse when you're a beginner starting out because you're limited on capital. You probably haven't made too many sales, or you're just you don't really know what a successful scaling ad account looks like. And so you have all this stress, and like going to sleep and launching campaigns the day prior or the night of, and you're trying to go to sleep, it's incredibly stressful. So imagine not having that stress, okay? This campaign structure and strategy is going to fix this for you to the highest extent possible in an ad account. We're going to eliminate this stress that you have about whether or not you're going to lose money the next day. And we're going to enable you to be able to test hundreds of creatives, literally hundreds of creatives, and control Facebook so that it only spends on winning ads. And I'm going to set up the campaign with you after we walk through the actual setup. And I'm even going to show you some results as well. Also, we're getting close to that point into the video where I'm going to drop that special key phrase that 90% of people who have already clicked off this video whose attention spans have been dopamine maxed by TikTok are already gone. So stick around until that. Now, let's go ahead and dive into the campaign setup. So this is a conceptual visual demonstration of what this setup is. Now, we're going to be using a CBO campaign. CBO is by far and away the best way to maximize a limited budget because you're essentially giving Facebook full reign and control over how to distribute the budget. And you're also only having to control one budget. So instead of setting small $20 ad sets, which can accumulate very fast and eat into your budget quickly, a CBO campaign is a fantastic way to consolidate that budget so that way you can make the most out of it. So for your CBO campaign, we're going to set this up for your first product, and we're going to do one country for this campaign. And ideally, this should be driving traffic to either your landing page, like an advertorial or a listicle, or straight to your Shopify product page. In terms of the actual setup, we are going to do one testing ad set for every single unique ad concept. Here are the exact settings that you need to use. 7-day click, 1-day view. We're using broad targeting or Advantage Plus audience right out of the gate. We're doing one unique ad concept, and we're setting our cost cap to 20% profit target CPA. Guys, Future Anthony here. I just realized I did a terrible job because I didn't even explain how to calculate your profit target CPA. So there's a very simple way to do this. And of course, it's using ChatGPT. What you're going to do is go into a fresh ChatGPT window and just tell it straight up what you sell your product for, how much it costs you plus shipping. So enter your cost of goods and your shipping costs. So whatever the AliExpress price is plus however much it costs to ship. And then also make sure you include accounting for Shopify fees and transaction fees, because those are sneaky little costs that actually take away from the profit that goes back into your Shopify balance or into your bank account. So make sure you account for that as well, because you want to achieve 30% profit accounting for those fees because you're paying them. So I just did a very quick example. If I'm selling my product for $39.99 and my cost of goods plus shipping is $12, accounting for Shopify fees and transaction fees is going to basically reverse engineer what the profit target CPA needs to be. Okay, so it's going through here, and as you can see, it's accounting for those 3% of fees, which $1.40 might not sound like much, but in the context of like profitability, especially at volume, and especially if you have a higher price point product like $100, $200, that 3% definitely adds up. So basically what we have here is my cost of goods plus shipping, accounting for fees, then our maximum target CPA to acquire 30% profit margin on a $39 product is going to be $14.59. So as I'm talking through this video that you're about to continue watching, and I'm saying, set your profit target CPA, set your profit target CPA, this is what you're going to enter as your cost cap inside of Facebook ads. And you'll have full confidence that you're setting a target that will then get you a 30% profit margin based on all the stuff that you just entered here. Okay. So apologies for that. If I oversimplify or maybe don't talk about that as much in the video, that is what this little interruption is for. So I'm going to shut up now. Back to the video. So what that means is you're going to tell Facebook, as you're setting up the ad sets, you're going to select cost per result goal on the campaign level. And when it asks for what that cost per result goal is, you're going to set a target CPA that if you were to achieve that, would acquire a 20% profit margin for you or profit volume for you. Now, another thing I should say here is the more tight you are on budget, the lower threshold that for unprofitability that you have. So you want to set a higher profit target. So you can go as high as 30% profit target on your CPA. I don't know why that got so massive. Okay. You can go as high as 30% profit target CPA. I would even recommend if you're someone who only has like $500 to $1,000 to your name and you just want a way to test en masse, the higher that you set your profit target CPA, or in other words, the lower that you set your cost cap target, the more difficult it is going to be to get Facebook to spend because you have a more difficult profit target to achieve. But by setting a profit target of 20% or 20 to 30%, you're essentially telling Facebook, here is a target CPA that I want you to shoot for. This target CPA is going to result in me achieving anywhere from 20 to 30% profit on this transaction. Do not spend unless you can hit this target. Remember, with a cost cap, we're essentially telling Facebook, this is your parameter to spend when the algorithm predicts it can acquire conversions at this specific cost over a 7-day average. So in practice, or in layman's terms, what that means is Facebook will only spend when it can hit the target. That is the new parameter and control on whether or not Facebook spends. And so in this setup, what we then do is we're doing one ad per ad set, or one unique ad concept. per ad set. And for as many ads that we have to test, we're going to put them into isolated ad sets just like this. So let's say you have 10 unique ad creatives, you make 10 UGC videos. Every single one of those videos is going to go into their own ad set, and they're all going to use the same cost cap target. Okay? Now, the reason why this works so effectively and why you can launch as many ad sets as possible is because for every single ad set, all of them are required in order to spend to be able to hit a desired profit target CPA. And so you can essentially launch as many new ad sets as possible with full confidence that they're only going to spend when they can hit that profit target CPA. So now we have $150 in campaign budget, and you can set this up at 50 to 100. I would recommend a bare minimum you do $100 a day. We have ad sets that are set with a desired CPA target of 30% profit, which means Facebook will only spend when it can acquire conversions at a 30% profit for you. And every new ad set is going to represent a new ad concept. So we're essentially saying, Facebook, here is all of the creative that I have. Here's all your ammunition to go and fire. But you can only spend if you can hit my profit target CPA. And that is it. That is the very simple setup in practice. So you're going to have hundreds of ad sets in a single campaign. Because what you should be doing is launching as many new ad sets as creatives that you have to test. And you have full confidence because it will only spend if it can hit your cost cap target. Now, what you're going to notice, I want to warn you right now, what you're going to notice when you run this setup is that your creatives are likely not going to spend. Majority of your ad tests are not going to spend. Be mentally prepared for anywhere from 80 to 90% of the new ad sets that you launch to not spend. And that is an indication that the quality of your creative is not good if you're not getting spent. If Facebook's not spending, that means it can't hit your target CPA. And because we know the audience variables are completely the same, we know the landing page is completely the same. The only difference amongst these is the creative. Then we know that particular creative, if it doesn't spend on the cost cap, is not good enough to hit conversions at your target CPA, or in other words, to make you profit. And so now you know which creatives are not working without spending money on them. And the best part is the creatives that are working are going to get spent. But I just want you to be mentally prepared. Majority of your creatives in this setup are not going to spend. So what you need to do is focus on testing a fuck ton of creatives. You need to be testing anywhere from 100 to 200 creatives every single week, because I guarantee you, your campaign is not going to spend a lot of money in the beginning. But guess what? No spend is better than bad spend, especially when you're a beginner. So shift your focus to testing. How can I test at least 20 new ads every single day? Because if you test 20 new ads every single day, that's 140 ads every single week. 140 times 4, what is that? What is that, 560? Math might be off there. 560 new ads every single month with a proven product, with a profit target CPA, assuming you're doing your research and you have a decent landing page. Eventually that campaign is going to spend. It's just a matter of creative volume. And so before we dive into the results on this campaign and what you can expect on the setup and show you live results inside of an ad account, okay? When you're running on highest volume, and if you're someone with a lot of capital, your biggest leverage is money. Because on lowest cost, you're basically saying to Facebook, spend as much of my budget as you can and get me as many results as you can, regardless of the cost. Okay? So if you're someone with capital, obviously, then you can afford to spend on lowest cost because that's your leverage. You can afford to actually get spend and get conversions in your account. But if you're someone who is obviously not a very rich person or just has a bunch of capital to expense, okay, your leverage is no longer your money. Okay, your leverage is not your capital. You have a fixed amount of capital. So your leverage then becomes creative volume, right? Either way, to get to $1,000 a day with branded dropshipping, volume has to come from somewhere. You can either brute force your way through lowest cost and just spend as much money as possible and test as much as possible, or you put a hard ceiling on your budget, okay? It's a fixed budget, and then you get your volume through creatives. And when you have limited capital, your leverage is better, or you have the leverage of time and effort. And that is what creative volume represents. Okay, so that's the setup, guys. Let's go ahead and dive into an ad account really quick, and I'll show you some results of what you can expect when you run a setup using cost caps. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so we're inside of a live ad account right now. And yes, this is live. I'll go ahead and refresh it a shit ton of times. So we're inside of a live ad account right now, and this is a campaign that is running cost caps. So as you can see, we have our cost per result goal here set to $50, and that has not changed since we have launched this campaign. You'll also see here that the cost per result is $59. So we're about $9 or about $10 more expensive in terms of our actual cost per result than what our target is. But like, to spend $15,000 and set a target with Facebook and to actually get within $10 of that, imagine if you set your profit target CPA to 30%. And imagine if you were only $5, $10, or even $15 off that mark. Let's say you're only like 5 to 10, like let's say a maximum $10 difference. Imagine how much more profitable you'd be if you could tell Facebook, I only want you to spend, and for this brand, $50 is profitable. And so $60 is more than profitable as well. And this is the power of a cost cap. Now, what you're also going to see here is, if we look at day to day, we have a $500 budget here, but we're only spending less than 20% of that per day. So that is why mentally I want you to be prepared. And this is for a brand where our creative is completely dialed in. Okay. We have really strong creative strategy. And as you can see on a campaign that is fully optimized, on an account that's fully optimized with really strong creative strategy, we're still only averaging anywhere from like 15 to as high as 30% spend. I mean, this is one of the higher spending days. And as you can see, hitting that target. So I just want you to be mentally prepared, because that was one of the most common things I get asked is like, hey, cost caps, they're not spending. It's likely because you're not generating enough creative volume and you're not testing as many ads as you should be, or that you could be. And another thing I want to warn you to is cost caps, and what I explain to beginners all the time, is that when you set a cost cap target, it's going to try to achieve that target across the average, or as an average, across your attribution window. So if you're using 7-day click, 1-day view, that means in Facebook's eyes, it has 7 days to hit your target as an average across those 7 days, which means days like this day on the 9th, $149 spent, $149 cost per purchase. Obviously, we're way outside of our KPI. But if we extend this to the maximum, you'll see over a longer time horizon, we do hit close to, very, very close to $50. So just be mentally prepared for those two things. Number one, you're gonna have days where your cost cap spend and they're not hitting your target. So just be mindful of that. That's why I say keep the budget to something that you'd be okay with spending on highest volume, which is usually around 50 to 100 bucks a day. And then the second thing is also be prepared for your campaign to not really spend the full budget. Anywhere from 15 to 35% is honestly really, really good with cost cap campaigns, because you're more than likely going to be hitting that target if your cost caps are set correctly and you have a slightly inflated budget as well. Now, I also wanted to compare and contrast that performance with some of our highest volume campaigns, such as this campaign down here at the bottom. As you can see, there's a massive difference in the cost per result compared to highest volume and cost caps. But that being said, you're going to see on the highest volume campaign, we've spent 6 figures on that campaign alone at a CPA target that is acceptable for us in this account. So just be mindful of that. Going back to the Miro board, when you're a beginner and you don't have a lot of capital, your leverage is time and effort. If you're someone with more capital, obviously you can afford to test every single creative and spend your way to a profitable CPA. But if you're someone who's just starting out, then make sure you're using cost caps in the setup that we showed you today. So that is going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the content as always. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And by the way, now that we have gotten rid of 99% of the TikTok brain, short attention span, dopamine maxing people who just click off the video within the first 10 seconds, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, which I know only like 5 of you did, so shout out to you 5 watching this video that actually stuck around until the very end, watched it start to finish, and actually absorbed the knowledge and value in this video. Huge shout out to you guys. Go ahead and comment the word, let's come up with a word. Let's comment the word crayon in the comments below. don't provide any context. Let's just play a little mind trick and kind of fuck with some of the people that don't watch the full video and are just going to comment straight away and then click off to a fucking meme video or some other Alex Hormozi video or whatever. So comment crayon in the comments below if you made it all the way to the end, because you're a real one and you're a G. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the content, as always, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It greatly helps out. And lastly, if you are someone who is serious about starting and scaling a branded dropshipping business to $1,000 per day, and you want to take my full masterclass and as well as get coaching from me every single week to help you get there, then I would highly encourage you to check out my course and community called God Tier Ecom. It is linked as the first link in the description. Right now, the price is the lowest that it will ever be, and we're actually going to raise the price again at the end of the month. And if you join now, you can actually lock in that price for a very low discount, or sorry, for a very big discount. And we're even doing an exclusive 60% off a yearly subscription to God Tier Ecom. And there's of course a 7-day money back guarantee. Before I end the video, I do want to show you what you actually get inside, because I get a lot of comments of like, or a lot of Instagram DMs of like, oh, what do you actually get when you join God Tier Ecom? So I'm going to show you really quick. All right, so we're inside of the community, and this will only take 30 seconds, really quick. Huge shout out to Till, who most recently was able to scale his branded dropshipping business to over $6,000 in a single day. Credits a lot of that to the coaching that he received in here. So huge shout out to him as well. But when you press join, this is everything that you're going to get access to. You're going to get access to the community, which is filled with some of the most elite dropshippers in the world who are scaling their businesses to the next level, posting wins, sharing sauce. Like, I learned so much in this group. It's honestly like so underrated how much you can learn just by being in a community and a network of people who have the same goals and who think along the same lines as you. So if you want to be part of this awesome community, that is obviously the biggest benefit of joining. But you'll also get access to the classroom section, which contains our full masterclass that shows you step by step by step how to build and scale your first branded dropshipping business to $1,000 a day using a lot of the systems and strategies that I teach on this channel for free, just in a more streamlined and methodical approach. And obviously everything is lined up here for you, including picking products, building the store step by step by step, literally from Shopify sign up all the way to having a fully legit store with a virtual mailbox, phone number, email address, all that good stuff is in there. I even teach you how to write pre-sale landing pages in the form of advertorials. I teach you how to use Funnelish, which not a lot of people are doing on YouTube. So you even get access to my full funnel template, which you can literally just copy paste into your business. And of course, how to make creatives, do systematic creative testing, and how to launch and scale Facebook ads, kind of similar to what you just learned in this video. So you get access to that classroom. You get access to the live recordings for all of our weekly Q&A calls. There's also $6,000 a year in SPY tools that you get access to for completely free. So I obviously can't share that here in this video, but when you join, you get access to all that. So it's literally an instant ROI if you ever plan on subscribing to any of those tools. You can also unlock access to my private supplier who I've been working with for the last 5 years. And you can even unlock free personalized one-on-one coaching calls as well. On top of that, we have multiple weekly Q&A live calls every single week. Right now, we're doing twice per week, where we jump on for anywhere from 60 minutes to 2 hours, and we talk through any questions the community has. You can get feedback on your ads, feedback on your store, feedback on your ad accounts, literally live from me. So it's really the best way to get live support and feedback, and honestly just strategize with me and the rest of the community on what you can do to get better results. So if you want access to the community of awesome hustling entrepreneurs, honestly, seriously, huge shout out to anyone who's in the community, because you guys are great. And I honestly love just spending time in here and chatting with everybody. If you want access to the community, if you want access to the classroom and the full masterclass that shows you step by step everything that you need to do to make your first 1K a day with branded dropshipping, in addition to the weekly Q&A calls and the free one-on-one coaching calls that you can unlock in the community as well, then click the first link in the description to join God Tier Ecom. Again, the price is going to be going up at the end of the month. I want to make sure that you lock in that really good price, and there is a 7-day money back guarantee when you join. So you can try it for 7 days. If you hate it, you can get your money back. All right, that's going to do it for this video. Again, if you want to join God Tier Ecom, click the first link in the description. Otherwise, hope you guys got a ton of value out of this. As always, make sure you comment the special word down below in the comments, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.